So, it is Monday, so you know what that means. It's another House of the Dragon review video. We have the brand new episode of House of the Dragon. Season 2, Episode 5, the brand new episode following last week's incredible episode that featured the Battle of Rook's Rest, the real start to the Dance of the Dragons. As always, spoilers are ahead in this video, so if you haven't watched the episode or you haven't watched the show at all and you do not want to be spoiled, click off the video now. So Episode 5, as you read in the title, is a little bit more of a filler episode. The first time in this entire series, really, that I feel like we've gotten an episode like this. An episode that really is designed to just kind of fill the time and bridge the gap between kind of the bigger moments of this story. I feel like we're getting into some of the big war moments that are coming up very, very soon and preparing for a very, very big finale in the coming weeks. Therefore, we needed an episode like this to kind of settle things down and kind of reset our feet. So it's a much more character-focused episode than some of the other ones we've gotten, whereas last week, we literally have a 30-minute battle at the end of the episode. We follow a few main things in this episode. First off, King's Landing. Of course, after last episode, Aegon is fucked. He got absolutely destroyed. His dragon was pretty much destroyed, and he is now, like, half dead. He's burnt. He's in a coma, kind of. He's just not doing too good. He is not in good shape. And because of that, Aemond is now regent, which means he is acting king, and Aemond, in this world, in this version of the story, is the heir. So he is the logical replacement for Aegon, which in the books, there was another child. His name was Maelor. Maelor the Missing, as we know him in the show, because he doesn't exist in the show. So after in the books, Jaehaerys was killed by blood and cheese, Maelor was the heir. Even though he was a baby, he was the heir technically. In the show, since Maelor does not exist, Aemond is the heir, so he kind of has this other character element to him where he wants Aegon to die. And he's got that similar sort of character connection to Daemon, who has that same mindset of, I should have been the heir, I should have been the king, I'm the smart one, I'm the one that understands war, I'm the leader, and my brother is king, and he's none of those things. But he finally is technically king at the dismay of Alicent, who's very upset and regretting every decision she's ever made because she knows she's fucked up. We also get a lot of Queen Rhaenyra just being kind of upset that she's doing nothing. That's kind of the story of Rhaenyra in this season. She's the queen, and she's bored, and nobody listens to her. And that sucks. She doesn't really assert herself as a true leader in her council, just as queen. People are fighting in her name, but not really for her. And she kind of wants to go fight for herself and prove that she is the strong leader, and nobody wants to let her go. They're like, no, you're staying here. You're staying here, Rhaenyra. Don't do anything. So that's like, we got like a bunch of scenes that are just showing that, pretty much. It's kind of boring. Corlys Velaryon is going to be the hand of the queen now. They went and they asked him to be the hand. He's one of the best characters in the show, and that is exciting to see. I cannot wait to see more of his character going forward. The MVP of this episode is Jace Velaryon, aka Jace Targaryen. If he ever takes the Iron Throne, he is the heir to Queen Rhaenyra, and of course, he does an amazing thing in this episode. He shows that he is probably the most qualified person in this entire show to be king. He's probably got all of the great qualities to be king. He is the one true kind of hero-esque character in this story, similar to like how Jon Snow is kind of like your typical hero character, which doesn't exactly fit in this universe. This universe is kind of dissecting what leaders are and dissecting how we are all human and flawed and how we all kind of would do terrible things if we really got into leadership. And Jon Snow was kind of like the exception to that. He was a good man who did good things and had a good heart, and Jace kind of seems like that too. He's a good kid with a good heart, but he is tough as shit, and he knows how to get shit done. He's got good instincts for leadership, unlike Aegon, so it's kind of like this weird kind of comparison. But he flies to the twins to meet with House Frey. You remember those assholes from Game of Thrones? Well, they're not as big of assholes yet. The ancestors are just kind of normal people, and they strike a deal. They strike a deal to let the Northerners come through, very much like Game of Thrones, and it's a great scene that shows how badass Jace is. Love that shit. Jace also comes up with the idea, the great idea of, oh my god, we have all these dragons here in Dragonstone. We have Vermithor, who's, you know, King Jaehaerys' old dragon. He's a massive, massive beast. We have all these other dragons. Why don't we find other, you know, Targaryens, people in our bloodline that have different names? Maybe they married into other families. Maybe they're bastards, and we have them come here and try to get one of these dragons. That would be good for us, wouldn't it? And his mom's like, oh shit, that would be pretty good for us, wouldn't it be? I'm gonna tell everybody I came up with that, okay, Jace? She didn't do that, but she probably should. We also get a lot more Daemon in this episode. He's still kind of going through the same shit he's been going through. He's just at Harrenhal. I think he bangs his mom at one point in this episode. Game of Thrones, guys. He's openly saying now that he thinks he's king, pretty much, and that when they take the Iron Throne, he's gonna rule as king, and Rhaenyra will just be queen in name only. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. But there's a great sequence in this episode where he's trying to recruit the Brackens. Of course, the whole theme with this whole storyline here is how the Brackens and the Blackwoods, who are these two Riverland families, have this, like, age-old rivalry. They're always at war, but Damon's trying to unite both of them because he needs both their armies. So he's with the Blackwoods, and he's meeting with the Bracken army, or the Bracken leadership, and he's got his dragon, and the Brackens are like, oh, we don't know if we want to join you. And Damon's like, if you don't join us, we're gonna give you fire and blood. And they're like, we'll take fire and blood. And they turn around and they walk away. And there's a great shot of, like, the head of the House Bracken just walking away, and you see the dragon in the background, and you're like, is he about the Jakars? He's about the Jakars, isn't he? But he doesn't. He doesn't, because Damon is like, that motherfucker's got balls. And we need people who have balls. And Lord Blackwood is he's just pissed. He's mad. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, Damon's like, holy shit, yeah, he just looked my dragon in the eye and told me to go fuck myself. I want that guy on my team. I want them in my army. Damon's he's got some brains up there. But yeah, so he eventually gets the Bracken army, and the Harrenhal story continues, and we'll see where it goes. Ultimately, though, not much happened in this episode that's really memorable. Even the episode was over an hour long, but it was still a great, fun, entertaining episode of House of the Dragon. The show keeps trekking along, and I cannot wait to see what happens next, because it's getting into some stuff that is very, very exciting from the books. What do you guys think of the episode of House of the Dragon? Let me know down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications. I post every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one.